Hey guys, you are multicasting, three running. Okay, so I guess this is working. Yo, JT, why are you still watching in Periscope? You know what you're supposed to do. Hey, Alex. Hey, Chris. Hi, everyone. Uh, so as you can see, I'm still using Habs. Hey, Catalina, how's it going? And for everyone who's watching from Periscope, I believe, hey, Liu and Wei, you guys know the app is going to close down. Not going on apps. Okay. Hey, Biggie. Um, it, you're not obligated to go to Habs. And if you're already following me, uh, I'm always going to stream through Twitter Live, YouTube. That's it. And Habs, right? Hey, Heavenly Dew. Hey, Renee. How's it going? But for those who, I'm just thinking, everyone has a YouTube, everyone has a Twitter. So if you're watching from Periscope, should I tell you to just go follow me there? Or can I give you incentive to follow me on Habs? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mark, how's it going? Did you have a meeting to go to? Oh, no. You have a meeting to go to in 11 minutes. Try Instagram Live. I could. But yeah, do I still read these messages? I do, Private Michael. I do. But the problem is latency is kind of long when I'm streaming with Haps. So it will take me at least 15 seconds before commenting on your comment. Hey, Matt, I don't care about Haps. It seems bad. Okay. Um, so as a viewer, I agree that, thanks for the award. I agree that there are better platforms to view the stream. Some people prefer YouTube, people prefer Periscope as long as it's still around, or Twitter Live, which is about the same thing. And so as a viewer, I think you're not limited to using Habs, or you don't have a lot of incentives to use Habs at this moment. As a broadcaster, right? And I tell people that I'm still considering, which platform to use. But I suppose I'm not going to be sticking with just YouTube, just Facebook, or just Twitter, because it's just a better thing to do when I can be on either OBS or live or Haps or StreamYard and just multicast, right? So the funny thing about Haps is everyone's here. Everyone that I know from Periscope is here. 我係只係講直泰直，我係只係講直泰直都係。We are headed Haps. I'll follow you. Cool, Matt. Latency should improve next week. Awesome. We got someone typing Chinese. Yeah, that's Liu and Wei. Some comment is being hidden. I thought I changed my comment setting to most lenient, but I understand why it's being hidden. Since Neil said Habs sucks. I don't care about Twitch. You broadcast on Facebook. I don't broadcast on Facebook. Not in my English. Not on my English channel. Anyway, doesn't matter. Like, I really don't care as much in terms of where you're watching me from, as long as you're watching me, right? Today is Tracy. That's Tracy, right? But today I do want to talk about COVID life in Asia because I think it's just very different how we're feeling the pandemic than a lot of my friends feeling it in Hong Kong and USA, in Europe, because we don't have a lockdown here. And yes, we go out with our masks, but um, I'm living a pretty normal life, all things considered. You know, I can't travel. That's still a problem. But um, I've been listening to a podcast of Joe Rogan when I was driving out today, and he was having a conversation with this guy called Alex. What's his last name? Let me check. Let me check. Wait. There's a YouTuber only from Japan that does similar to what you do. Okay, audio needs to be fixed. A lot of work. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Neil. I like the engagement of Hap's team. I'm looking forward. Yep, yep. Places are closed, right? You can take a bus. So the Joe Rogan episode is with Alex Berenson. And Alex Berenson used to work at New York Times. So he's a journalist. And he's also very opposed to shutdowns in USA. He's not anti-science or anything, but he definitely doesn't agree on shutdown measures by the government right now. And I just find it interesting because this is something that it's highly controversial, and there's also different policies in Asia. How is my masterclass going so far? I'm reviewing my cooking classes by Thomas Keller, and it's quite nice to be able to rewatch those videos. And I think I want to keep my subscription because there's so many classes in masterclass that I want to keep watching. Learning basketball, I want to watch Daniel Neguru and poker. There's like a lot, like Gordon Ramsay, I haven't even started yet. And then there's this like other new person coming into masterclass. So I still love masterclass. I just need to force myself to find time to watch it, because watching masterclass is not the same as watching random YouTube videos. They're tutorials, they're educational. So you need to pay attention to it. I can't be just relaxed and sitting in my couch and watching it like I'm watching any TV show on Netflix. So it requires my concentration. And I think it's also quite demanding in terms of my brain power, not Alex Jones. Ooh, all of a sudden the comments are popping out here and there. Hey, Lenny, nice to see you on Haps. How's my lovely wife and kids doing? They're doing fine, thank you. I have two, by the way. I don't know if you know this. Yes, kids, plural. A friend had to close her restaurant bar due to COVID in Chiang Mai. Yes, but that's voluntarily because the government doesn't force people to shut down now. It's mainly due to lack of tourists, lack of business, and people just voluntarily shut down their business. Business owners who can't sustain, Hey, Chicago. I watch your replay. Can't believe you ate a murder hornet. Oh, okay. Hey, Tainer. Good evening. You feel like you're getting your money worth dose on masterclass? Yeah, man. Like it's what, $100 for a year, and it's knowledge. Knowledge. It's priceless, and it's high quality content. I feel like I'm missing out because I'm not watching enough of it. But I definitely want to. I want to stick with it. I mean, it's better watching masterclass than, I don't know, like dog videos on YouTube. Shutdowns are based on COVID spread. Even a limited shutdown west of Bangkok now. I think there are they are limiting the gathering events in Bangkok and a lot of the provinces, but Chiang Mai is not affected yet. What did I learn so far from Keller's masterclass? Um, so I do cook, but there's a lot of technique, um, like very specific techniques that he talks when he makes a simple dish or a type of food. So for example, vegetables, right? There's a whole series on vegetables and how you cut them, how you cook them, how you bring out the flavoring, how you bring out the color, timing it, testing how well done it is. It's these little techniques that he talks in his videos that I find it tremendously valuable. So it's not like, oh, there's a dish I want to learn and I want to learn it from him. I don't think he uses that approach. He focuses more on cooking technique, and I really like it, right? So I love his classes, and he's a very, I don't know, he's a guy that I feel like, wow, he knows his stuff because he can expand on his knowledge on very, very simple things, and I love it. I love it. If you guys are stuck at home and you want to make your time worth, uh, I highly recommend you subscribing masterclass for a year. Obviously, you have to find someone that you like to learn on things, but if you are stuck at home because of COVID, um, I truly think you should make good use of your time, right? Uh, but today I've been able to go out and meet people, go to a restaurant, come back home, and live a pretty normal life. And so I think I'm one of the luckier ones in a place that's very safe. Um, how many of you are very afraid of getting the virus? I'm curious to know. Um, today's topic is going to be all over the place because it's a whole chat, it's a random thing. But I'm just curious of the the concern of catching the virus. How many of you guys are freaking out because you think you might get the virus? Yes, I know, John. It's me. Tweet this babe from Periscope. Hey, Lenny. Oh, okay. I remember you now. Hey, British Spy. How's it going? Um, Billy D. What's up? I came back to Scope because MGT is not providing me support. MGT management? Almost people can't get jobs this year, maybe next year too. Yeah, the US and most of the West suffer from toxic individualism. People here think stay at home is a lockdown, but had we actually locked down, we could have been better off. It's arguable. Chiang Mai bar will close tomorrow night. I hope not. 1,000-year-old egg. Hey, Chris. Hey, Gunner. Finally here at House. Wow, you should get a sponsorship from them. Doing what though? Hopefully better by July. I retire in April and want to get my Thai retirement visa to settle. You should definitely come to Thailand. Oh, masterclass. Sorry, this is the problem with latency. You know, I have friends in Nonthaburi, Chiang Mai, and Rio. Ah, cool, cool, cool. Can I get the recipe for boiled eggs? Did you learn from my cooking broadcast today? Yes, Chris. I learned about the differences between a 3-minute cooking egg and a 10-minute cooking egg. There's a big difference between those two cooking methods. But I'm posing the question here, and I don't see anyone responding. So I'm guessing there's not a lot of people who are really afraid of getting the virus. The funny thing is, if I were to talk to the Thai people I know here, and I ask them, so this is the thing I ask, right? I ask them, are you guys afraid to catch the COVID virus? And normally the response would be, yes, I'm scared of catching the virus, right? And then I would follow up and say, but it's actually very hard to catch the virus. And they don't quite understand what I'm trying to say. So what I tell them is, let's say if we were to have a bet, right? If I were to give, so let's say I'm talking to you as if you're my Thai friends, right? Hey KV, hey Costa V. So I would say something like, if I were to give you $1,000, if I were to give you 1,000 US dollars, and you have to get a positive, you basically have to catch the virus. Like your mission is to catch the virus within 3 days. And the bet is $1,000 US. Would you be willing to take this bet? Meaning, if that person can get the virus, I'll give him 1,000 or her 1,000 US. But if he or she couldn't get the virus, they would have to give me 1,000. Now, if you were my Thai friend, would you take the bet? That's my question to you. My COVID feelings are exactly how I feel about the flu. Don't want it, but will manage if I do. Good approach, Holistic Deb. I'm 65 with pulmonary issues, so I avoid people here in Arizona. I get it. 6 on 10. Had it last year, pre-testing, don't want it again. Right. Hey, Randy, not worried much. I work in a retail store. I'm concerned, but not scared. I am highly concerned, extremely high, almost at the level of freaking out. Really? Why? A major concern is the treatment after catching the virus. The symptoms are heavy. All of a sudden, the comment starts popping out. I didn't realize this. Heavy latency tonight. All right. That's why. COVID is on the rise, and only by human-to-human contact, primarily not wearing a mask. Okay. It takes a while for parried comments to show on apps. Limited hospital beds. We are responding. Give it 2 minutes to catch up. Apparently so. You never think about COVID. I'm not worried about. I don't think I'm in the risk group. Good job, Andy. They said no flu because we wear masks. So people say they don't want a mask until on a ventilator. Matt, I learned something interesting about the ventilator. And please correct me if I'm wrong, if there's medical experts here. But this is what I learned about the ventilator. If you're having a virus and you're being put on a ventilator, you could actually damage your lungs using it, then getting better. I'm not saying there's no purpose to use a ventilator, but using a ventilator for early intervention of COVID-19 is apparently not a good idea. I don't know if you know this or not. You can search for it, but this is what I learned today. But correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Is it actually hard to catch? My daughter is a surgical nurse. You can catch COVID as easy as the common cold, right? What about new variant, which is 70% more transmissible? I don't know about it, right? I don't understand what you're saying. Masks are critical, best things against catching. Okay. I was in a household with 4 positive people and didn't get it, so big delay for comments. Apparently, very big delay. This is making communications very difficult. He said, okay, maybe some naturally immune. Hey, John, I tried to enter your link, but it didn't recognize me and wanted me to sign up. I instead went to app, and I'm here finally. Paula, welcome to HAPS. Use a ventilator if you can't breathe. Many intubation, especially if pneumonia is involved, right? People who aren't wearing masks are the spreaders. I agree with you on ventilator. Okay, so massive latency. And I really hope I really hope HAPS can fix this, because otherwise I'm going to switch to StreamYard next time. I'm not going to compromise my quality of live stream, sticking with only one platform. CPR is used to keep people alive after heart stops. Ventilator used after breathing stops. Right, Matt, but that's not the case in the early stages of COVID-19 when people were hospitalized. Anyway, I'm not an expert. I'm just repeating someone's statement, but I thought I knew about ventilators. I don't know about ventilators. That's my point. Based on my personal experience, one of my best friends is an epidemiologist. He helped me via WhatsApp, non-hospitalization, self-isolated. Okay, many people died because they were put on ventilators unnecessarily. That's a known fact. Right. I don't know if many people died, but some people got really bad lungs after being in the ventilator unnecessarily. And I think someone in the medical industry made a mistake. I'm not loving all of these issues. I know, Paula. Oh yeah, I have to write all my comments in one phrase, usually divide them up. I stated exactly what I'm saying. Don't use a ventilator if still breathing. Don't do CPR if heart beating. Yeah, but when people just talk about ventilators with COVID, it's like, oh, this is the solution to it or something like that. People seem to simplify the issue, like, oh, wearing a mask and you're going to be okay. It's more complicated than that. The funny thing about mask is I'm from Hong Kong, and we have SARS before, and we have had a lot of people who have died from SARS. I think I forgot the actual numbers, but it was a really scary time in Hong Kong. And so this is not the first time we were advised to wear masks. And when COVID hit at the very beginning, everyone masked up in Hong Kong. Now, there's a big argument about whether mask works or not. And I tend to be on the believing side that it works to a certain extent. But I don't want to go into the debate of, the mask issue as well. What I'm trying to say is, culturally speaking, places like in Japan and Hong Kong, or even Thailand, we're very used to wearing a mask if we don't feel well. And it's almost a form of politeness to tell people that I'm sick, please beware of it, right? And so I personally don't understand what is the fuss of not wanting to wear a mask. I feel like it's been politicized, or just it goes more than the mask itself. It's almost like, oh, this is my right to not wear it, or some silly notion that disregards other people's health. But in Asia, it's quite common to wear a mask. So this round of COVID, everyone just masked up, no questions asked, right? And so, yeah. My entire family got COVID while wearing masks, so I have no faith in them at all. Well, because there's a lot of problems with masks, right? But we're not going to go into that. Wearing masks doesn't prevent it, it's a precaution, right? I believe masks help, but too many people wear the wrong type of mask and don't wear it properly, consistently. There's that. Putting someone on ventilator requires to stop patients' breathing instinct unless in coma. You may. Right. 299 deaths in Hong Kong due to SARS. I thought there was more than that. Killed a patient. If you're sick, you should stay at home and mask. Masking helps. Masking healthy people is a problem, right? Masks are critical to wear if we want to reduce the spread. It's a virus, treat it as such. Right, so I think on a personal level, we should be considerate and just, you know, bite the bullet and do things that at least people around you will feel safe, even if you don't believe the mask works. But I personally am very against shutdown, because I know a lot of people are suffering, especially in the developing countries like where I'm living in Thailand. So if I were to go outside to the city, if I were to drive outside to the city, there's two main areas here that used to be very, very busy. And because country decided to close down, well, right now they let people in if you're willing to do the 14-day quarantine, but that's basically discouraging the 99% of tourists that would love to travel to Thailand. And because of that, a lot of hotels and restaurants are voluntarily closing indefinitely. So you can imagine how many people don't have a job, or can't have an income. And when that happens, they can't feed their family, they can't pay their bills, and they go into depression. They have family issues. They might consider doing crimes to make money. But unfortunately, not that many people talk about this. Not that many people talk about the problem of shutdown. And I just don't. I didn't know it would last this long, and I don't know how the country can survive being partially locked down for so long. So anyway, I just need to go back to the comments, because masks aren't perfect is no reason not to wear a mask. I agree. I find it to be a pain just remembering to bring mask when I go shopping. If that's a pain, then there's a lot of things in life that can cause a lot of pain, like washing your hands after going to the bathroom. Do you not wash your hands? Or, paying your bills to make sure that lights are able to turn on, and you need to remind yourself. That can be a pain as well. I don't know. Like for me, I have masks on my backpack, in my car, everywhere I go. There's somewhere that I put a mask in it. So I can't imagine it being a pain. Like, what kind of pain can it inflict on you just to remind yourself to bring a mask? I guess it's on you. Right. Agreed. Don't shut down. Right. It just makes sense to wear a mask. Okay. Those inter and IBA national air tubes should have been shut down last March. Cruel. Yes. More effective than masks. Masks don't work in Sweden before, but now it works in public transportation. Andy, I know you're from Sweden, and I'm very curious about things happening in Sweden, because I'm hearing two very conflicting sides about the policy in Sweden. I almost want to invite you to come on my scope, but I don't think you like to put your face in front of the camera. I don't know. But if you're up for it, I actually do want to talk with someone from Sweden and talk about their policy. People won't understand until it happens to them and someone close. There are levels to do this. That's the usual thing people say when, Joe Biden announced political. Most businesses offer free masks here for anyone who forgets. Right, you're right, John. Shutdowns have a long-term devastating effect on the economy. Yes, it depends on the type of mask. I don't know what to think anymore. Florida has surpassed 1 million cases. 12,000 cases yesterday, 100 plus deaths on a day. Our government has banned cities from enforcing the use of masks. 8,000 people have died of COVID in my area, mostly after people allowed together. No real pain, just when I don't when it's a problem. You're right. Okay. Hey, Rick. Orlando's handling fines. How are you feeling about HAPS right now? Hey, Michael. I'm still on the fence because the latency has been quite bad. Death is allowable risk in the USA. I don't do a lot of shopping. All right. Andy from Sweden could do like Euro Maestro and be a blank screen. That's a good idea, Dean. Andy from Sweden, if you're willing to talk and don't want to show your face, you don't have to show your camera. You can just like block your camera, but it would be nice to talk with someone from Sweden. Hey, Biggie Smalls. I have seen economy recover. So another interesting thing about death rates is the age distribution of COVID deaths. And apparently, if you're super young, like not even 10 years old young, the death rate is super low. Can turn off camera too. Awesome. Yeah. And so I think the majority of death is kind of skewed towards the older people. People with complications or with a compromised immune system. So, yeah, I mean, I thought of myself getting the virus, and basically, my chances of dying from the virus is quite low, right? But again, I feel like I've dug myself a hole talking about this topic. Thanks for the Happy Holidays Award, British Spy. In Miami, Dade fines are handed out, but payment of those fines is not enforced. Okay. Pandemic fatigue is an issue, along with 0 ICU beds here. Well, Orlando got away with it somehow, and third fine, they are shut down. They go to parks, bars, and restaurants. Well, let's talk about mental health, right? The mental state, not being able to go out, having to worry about financials, because the checks are not going to keep coming in, right? So I keep telling people, if you can stay at home and you don't have to worry about finances, that's a privilege. And a lot of people just simply don't have the privilege to stay at home and feel safe because they have other problems that they have to deal with. And I think that is also not talked enough about. So I'm not saying the COVID is not a serious issue, but I do think there needs to be more conversation about the detrimental effects on these COVID policies that are imposing on people, right? So I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I just, are my in-laws worried being older? They're healthy. They still go out, Paula. So, I mean, but we're in a very different place, right? Chiang Mai hasn't had a confirmed case for like a week or 2 weeks. And so we have very little confirmed case to kind of scare us from catching the virus. On death certificates, there are primary and secondary reasons. COVID may be one, but another can be, right? I work in unemployment insurance, so seeing a lot of suffering. Right, Matt. Mental health affects every level of physical health, so it's big, right? But they list COVID as first, and lots are listing it as no test was given post-mortem. So 呢位喂，點解你咁樣講咧？if you my stream is kind of interesting to see because I have Chinese comments from people living in this part of the region, and I don't know if I should repeat them in English because it's borderline racist, but not the kind of racist that Americans would think of. So I don't know how to react to it. I support these families who lost jobs, pay rent, and buy food. That's nice of you, Matt. Our county just sent out mass text for mental health support to everyone. I hope people are getting help, but the fact is, in Hong Kong and in most of Asia, right, mental sickness is still somewhat of a taboo, or is not perceived as like a real illness. So unless you're psycho, right, if you tell people you're depressed or you have schizophrenic or something like that, people would just say, go to a temple and meditate, like maybe drink whiskey, or I don't know, find a bar girl or something like that, right? So here, mental problems are not being dealt with seriously, and that's also the difference between here and in USA when this pandemic is happening. Translate it. Okay, so he says white folks are really naive. I don't know. There's no context to it, so I don't know what Liu Wei is saying when he said that. There's a stigma with mental issues, right? You get money for HAPS. Hey, the big pickle. Do I get money for HAPS? I get money when you guys give me these awards. So yeah, that's it, right? I can't cash out Super Hearts from Periscope. I tried. I don't qualify their program. So if you want to tap Super Hearts on Periscope, don't do it, because the app is closing down, and I don't think I can ever get my money that people have contributed. And if you really, really want to support, there's Patreon, where you can jump into HAPS and just buy these coins and give me some award that you think I deserve. It's basically a virtual gift, right? I think it's cute, and I appreciate it, definitely. And schizophrenic drink whiskey, haha. Yeah, I'm serious. This is giving a phone number for people to reach out by getting them weekly, and glad they are trying. It's right. Listening to Tibetan singing bowls in another window now. Ah, that's cool. So this is better then. This is better? HAPS? I don't know. I'm still trying it out. You can turn off Super Hearts. I should, but I keep forgetting. Yeah. T. Smith. Hey, Taylor. I should do it. Thanks for reminding me. Stars. How do I disable it? I'll figure it out later. But hey, guys, I want to do a quick shout out for people here that I think they also stream. So you guys can follow them on HAPS. In less than a few months, Periscope is shutting down. So a lot of people have migrated to HAPS. And if you haven't followed me on HAPS, you can try give me a follow. Or go to YouTube, because I'm also streaming on YouTube. My account is the same name. But There are people like Tella No Excuses. She's a broadcaster. Where are the people? Hey, special gal, thank you for the Happy New Year award. Am I on YouTube? Yes, I am on YouTube, T Roses. So my YouTube account is John M. Ho. I had a couple videos there, and I think I had some whole interviews there, but it's just very disorganized. Sometimes I don't even want to look into it. Can you not donate your super hearts you receive to others? I wish I can, Rick, but I don't think that's possible. Yeah, it wouldn't let me transfer. So I don't know what will happen. I know Apple has taken its cut. That's 30% of people's purchase. And I guess Twitter is going to get the rest. I still want to interview on my Half account. Sure, you can do that, Michael. Why not? Let me just follow you. Hey, Betty. Welcome to House. Okay, so I apologize for the way I'm kind of talking today because I want to talk about COVID, but I just realized it's still a very sensitive topic. And if I were to speak freely of my mind, I think a lot of people would think I'm careless and kind of, how do I say this? Downplaying on the whole thing. But I don't intend to downplay the whole situation. And I'm not a careless person. But I do think a lot of these policies that are imposing on us are excessive. And there's going to be a lot of negative consequences that we don't see because we don't talk enough about. And there might be long-term problems that it hasn't become an issue yet. And I just worry the more policies are imposed on us, on shutdowns, on limiting the things that we can do, the more people are going to suffer as collateral damage. So I really want to talk about it, but at the same time, I don't know how to deliver my thoughts. So I apologize if I'm not doing a good job explaining myself. Thanks for the high five award. Broadcasting now on here. Awesome. I still want to. Okay. Can Habs take calls in like Periscope? Yes. I can invite people to take calls. So don't find me on YouTube. It's John M. Ho. You should be able to find me. Is your Patreon on your Twitter? Yes, my Patreon is on my Twitter account. My Periscope profile, not on my Twitter. I should put it on my Twitter as well. Right, it's a topic people need to have, regardless of differences. Listen to, understand, not judge. Right, I stop caring if people disagree with me. That's a good way to think about it. As long as you cover your webcam, I hope they will be working on this. Just audio alone, like I do. I call them audio cast. Right. Inciting fear too. Yeah, I tell my story because it's my story. Believe what you will. Are your hospitals overwhelmed with patients or prepared to deal with more if open up to? We don't have a capacity issue with hospitals right now. More restrictions will always hurt more people. Some of the regulations are getting ridiculous. Yeah, like in Hong Kong, right? So they are requiring certain businesses to shut down after 6 p.m. So all restaurants have to be closed at 6 p.m. You can only do deliveries. All spa salons, beauty salons, right? Those cannot operate um, like until 3 weeks later or something like that. So there are some businesses specifically that just cannot be open, but they still have to pay rent, right? Because the landlord is not saying, oh, because the government is forcing you to shut down, so you don't have to pay rent. That's not the case. So imagine the business owner of these places, like, how are they going to survive? I have friends who owns a couple like beauty salons, and yeah, um, I wear a mask, have soap in my auto, and order my groceries for as long as it lasts. Right. The issue is that people get so emotional and irrational when others disagree. Deb, I'm guessing your name is Debbie. Um, I agree. Uh, when people get upset because it's the opposing idea, I feel like I can't continue the conversation because you're using your emotional energy to kind of like argue. That doesn't work for me. So yeah, I kind of avoid that. I don't tell others to after their views and expect the same respect in return. That's a smart way to think of things. I think vaccine will stay voluntary, but you will only be allowed the basics. Well, this is. I was just having conversations with my brother-in-law's friends. They asked me if I'm worried about getting the vaccine. And you're going to laugh at me, but this is what I tell them. This is what I told them. If I can take the vaccine, whatever the vaccine that they have right now, right? And I get exemption from the 14 days quarantine that that is compulsory right now to come into the country or to go back to Hong Kong, I'll take the vaccine. I'm willing to take the vaccine. I know there are risks, but if it gets me a free pass to not require quarantine of 14 days by myself in a hotel, I'll do that. That's my position. So, yeah, no trolls on hats yet. None will be tolerated. Let's hope so. Like, you may start to have proof of vaccination or testing, right? Good morning, John from Vancouver. Hey, Sicilian Nation, how's it going? I'm seeing a lot of people watching this from HAPS, and I'm quite surprised by it. Andreas, in Sweden, a lot of people died in elder care, and a lot of migrants from Middle East and Africa. So I'm not sure about the migrants, but elderly dying of COVID is very common, and so they are the groups that should be highly protected. But at what cost, right? That's also the question. At what cost? Hey, Laurie, popping in for my lunch break. Hey, Laurie, Periscope is closing. Either follow me on Twitter, not Periscope, or you can also jump on HAPS to follow me, which I have the link on my profile. Are you allowed to travel or go to beaches? I'm actually going down south of Thailand in a few weeks with my wife's friends at the beach at an island. I don't know if it's still okay right now because there is like a mini outbreak going on in Thailand. So if I do go there, I'll definitely scope about it. I miss the beach. Working in horticulture, we haven't missed a work day. Even worked Sundays. Best year in 38 years. Good for you, Bobby. Thailand is managing the pandemic very well, or at least the statistics to pick that. Well, okay, I'll give you a couple interesting stories about Thailand, and I don't know if these are true or not, but these are things that people of Thailand are telling me. If you're in Bangkok, which is the capital of Thailand, and if you were to walk into a hospital and tell them, I feel sick and I want to be tested to see if I have COVID-19, some hospitals would say, no, we're not going to do that test. Why? I don't know. So the government is definitely not actively testing every single person in Thailand, right? They just don't have the resources. But we also have a very good healthcare system here, meaning normal people are basically getting free healthcare if they have any problems, and they just go to a public hospital and they will get treated. Obviously, the quality is not as good as a private hospital, but at least they don't go bankrupt because they're sick, right? And one thing that's interesting about Thailand is there's also a system built in the rural areas specifically where they have volunteers of healthcare staff. I don't know what they call them because it's all in Thai, but essentially, if you're living in a village, someone from the government assigns certain members in the village to send out the message or to do certain healthcare work. And these are not employees; these are basically volunteers of the village. But we have a lot of villagers, and we have a lot of these volunteers that are coordinated with the government. So whenever there's a pandemic like this happening, thanks for the Happy New Year award, Betty. The word spreads really fast. So I think that is also something that the Thais are very proud of in terms of the system of healthcare being well managed, or seemingly so at least. So many people just wanted to hide in houses and not even do anything. Yeah, but that's not realistic. At least collateral economic damage as well. Yeah, you have to thick skin stream. Can't take it personally. Hey, Domingo. Good topic. Waiting to get vaccine. Awesome. So you're looking forward to get the vaccine. Awesome. My health condition make it ineligible for the vaccine. Oh man. So how are restrictions fair for me? I know that sucks. Wait, so you can't get the vaccine because, okay. So maybe because you have more risks. No worker should be confrontational risk employment and bodily injury to enforce masks. What? No worker should be confrontational risk employment and bodily injury to enforce mask. Oh, so nobody should be forced to have mask. Yeah, but nobody should resist having a mask. That's what I think. It's great when people don't get my goat to say I don't get mad. I actually talk to them. Vaccine is compulsory for healthcare workers. Right. I think that's a good way. Is there a moderation option with HAPS? Yes, Tainer. I can assign people as moderators and they can help me moderate the chat. This will all lead to everyone needing to be chipped. Chipped as in what? Hey, Bobby. HAPS has had a huge influx from periscopers. Definitely. Hey, from my understanding, talking to people who survived polio, vaccines are not that bad. Right. Yeah, I need to download HAPS. Please do, Laurie. To not lose you. I don't know how many people are still going to watch my broadcast when Periscope shuts down. So I'm really hoping you guys will either follow me on Twitter or YouTube or download the app's HAPS. So yeah. I mean, I have to repeat myself for the next 3 months, but I guess I'll need to do that because, sometimes people don't come in and watch my scope all the time. U.S. has to open up. Destroying small businesses will lead to more damage than COVID itself. Tommy, I'm with you on that. But it's not to say I don't believe COVID is not real. Wait, too many negatives. I'm telling the truth, considering it's a touristy area. Thailand? You have to have symptoms or they won't do it here either, John. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Blame it on China. The Chinese virus. Oh, okay. You're one of those guys. Sure, blame it on China if you want to. Kids coming home to no meals because their parents' business shut down is no joke. Is that latency getting better? I don't know, Heavenly Dew, you tell me. I got it, was sick for like 3 hours. My body, my choice. Yikes. When I hear something say, my body, my choice, I don't have to wear a mask. It's you know, the political ideology has overwhelmed that person to a point that other people's life simply don't matter because I don't give a fuck about them. That's how I perceive the people who use these phrases. My body, my choice. I don't have to wear a mask. Also, don't respond predictably to meds and especially injected substances. How do you reply to someone's comment on health? I couldn't say hi to Taylor. You can highlight. There's like a little tiny bar on the comment that you can click reply. I got it almost like 3 months. I was stocked up on elderberry. Okay, vitamins. Yes, take supplements. And if you want good supplements, tell me about it. Ask me about it because I can lead you to it. I'll try Twitter unless HAPS improves. Good call. I would say about 20% of businesses on my main street is Montana have closed this year for good. Yeah, it's super sad. Seems like you're one of those guys. My sister says other people's lives 100% matter. I've already had COVID. I cannot give it out, not receive it. I think it's more about common courtesy, though. My body, my choice is an American phrase used abortion rights. So yeah, the my body, my choice is what feminism has used for a good decade. Funny how now it doesn't apply. You guys just love to politicize things. Yeah, multivitamins from Sam Club. Okay. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to do a good job continuing this live stream, so I'm just going to call it a day. I am on YouTube, T Roses. Find me on John M. Ho, and you should be able to find my channel. Stay away from me with no mask. If you don't leave your home or go near a human being, you can have your choice of not wearing a mask. Hydraulic works. Right. Okay. Okay. Anyway, hopefully next time I can do a better job and talk about something that I have more passion of. But this is just my attempt to share my thoughts and what's happening here in Thailand and in Asia generally. Thank you, Heavenly Dew. At least I haven't been yelled at or called names. I know, I did stir up the soup. It's my fault, Betty. Okay, Joe Biden has dragged out this BS virus to win the election. I'm not surprised. Tommy is saying the two separate lives, right? Happy New Year, John. I'll definitely do another scope before the new year. But if I don't see you again, 2021 is definitely going to be better. I know it. It's a fact. Trust me on this. Trust the Chinese on this. Because you can trust me, right? You can trust this Chinese person. USA is literally based on freedom of all things. It's so different here. It is. I have passion for food. Yes. So Trump got beat by a virus. Right. I'm not going to talk anything about politics. The world is balanced and intelligent. I try, Tella. I try. All right, guys. Good night. Have a great day, and I'll see you around soon. I have to laugh that 2021 will be better. You can laugh, but I still believe that, Craig. I still believe that. All right, guys. Take care. Bye bye.